And do remember, my 2025 horoscope for each ascendant is on Care's vlogs on Maghavedic Astrology Academy. For that, the link is below. And I've literally made the 20 to 35 minute long video for each ascendant, explaining the transit, explaining the Trimurti system of the transit, their nakshatra placement of the transit. Okay, so go check it out there. So Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. Although I know most may not be having a Happy New Year, especially those 10 people who were, killed in New Orleans last night. But those who can enjoy, prosper. So today, let's talk about numerologically how 2025 is going to be affecting you. Okay? Because this is a 9-year. What is a 9-year? 9-year, first of all, is a year of completion. It's a year that kind of like concludes things, finalizes things. It is the year that kind of closes chapter in certain chapters, closes in everybody's life. So if you go back to, 2016, right? 201689. Yeah, the 2016 would be the last time number 9 came in. Okay, so now if you look back in your life, some certain things would have closed and new things would have come about. For example, we actually moved out of state, in 2016. So it was a completely brand new chapter of the life, meaning our connection and history with California is done and over with. At least for the long-term foreseeable future, hopefully, because we're not going to go back to that state. So just like that, new things come into play. New life patterns come into play. When you have a number 9, it does not mean that, okay, well, this number is going to get money, this number is not going to get money, this number will get money. It has nothing to do with that. If you hear that as complete, utter garbage. What yearly numerology does, it shows the pattern for each number that they're going to be dealing with. Because you could make money in year number 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nothing to do. This is why. Imagine if I would really believe it if every 9th year or 7th year of a year, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos are losing billions of dollars. And then suddenly it comes back up. It's not there. They have randomly lost value of the stock, randomly got up, and most of the time it just is growing. But what the year energy does, it shows how conducive it's going to be with your particular number. Like if, let's say, previous year, you made 4 deals out of 10, this year you might be making 7 deals out of 10. Okay, if last year you were simply focused on work, this year you might be focused on starting something new. Right? Because what happens after completion? Something has to start, some new recycling has to happen. So that's what the 9-year is. So now if we look at each number, and how do we look at the number? It is simply the day that you were born. Okay? Because the day that you were born is the daily routines you deal with. It's your daily self, the day you were born. The accumulated numbers, known as the life path, right? So if you add up all of your date of birth, like January 1, 2025, okay? So that means that person is going to be number 11. Because you got 2025, that's 9. And then you got January 1, so 1 and 1. So that's 2. So what do you call 9 and 2? It's 11. So, hey, see, I'm good at mathematics. I don't know why I got failed in 10th grade in math. Damn it. So that person becomes number 2. But see, that's a life path. It is your life path. It is a path you have to walk on till your last breath. That ain't changing because of some year. The path is set, right? But the day that you're born is how you deal with your daily life, daily routine, daily things. Whether you make some goals, whether you're working on something, whether you're being lazy, whether you're cooking something, that number that you're born on is constantly running. Like it's in the back end like a spool running. So obviously if you, let's say, look at number one person is coming into the ninth year. Okay. So now what happens is a one person is Sun. 9 is Mars. 9 is also actually certain people consider Ketu because it's a completion of ending and rebirth. So it's completion, but it's a rebirth of something. So it's also Ketu. But let's just say we just simply look at this energy of Sun and Mars, the king and the general. What's going to happen with number one people? They're going to be challenged. It's like they're here to face challenge. Some challenge they have to take on, and they have to find themselves victorious on that particular challenge in order for them to keep up their confidence. So, for example, let's say, and it's something as simple as, let's say this year you decide, I am going to be making, I don't know, my dollhouse out of wood. A lot of women do that. They have these hobbyists of doll houses, but it's a challenge. You know, it's funny. I just said that. My wife in 2016 bought a dollhouse that she wanted to work on. Wow, that's, yeah. So 1 and 9, you know, it's wanting to take challenges because the only time you'll see a king and a general together is when there's some challenge, some war, some fight ready to happen. So it's not like you have to look for a challenge or I'm telling you to look for a challenge. Challenge is going to come in. It's going to come in next few months. Something you take on, or maybe you take on multiple things as a challenge and you have to accomplish it. But when you don't accomplish it, this is where you feel that low self-esteem. That is it. Because imagine if a king comes home losing a war. Although I don't know back in the days if you came home if you lost a war, because either you'll be dead or you'll be imprisoned or something. But let's just say they came back. I mean, there's no ego there. The egos has been shattered. So that's what happens here. The ego is kind of like either needs to get a rebirth, okay, or ego has to find itself victorious. Because even if you look at Ketu and Sun, it's like the end of ego. Okay. On the other hand, you're born on number 2, and then number 9 is there. Here, number 2 people, it's hard for a number 2 person to go into number 9, because 9 is again completion, recycle, rebirth. Okay, and 9 is a very fiery energy of Mars, of protection and preserving. Okay, sustenance. That's what that 9 energy is. It's here to nourish something, protect something, but it's doing it in a very strong manner. It's challenging energy of number 9. It's very stubborn energy of number 9. So here, a 2 person, which is going to be a very flexible but also a moody person, gets irritated when they meet this number 9. They get irritated with the stubbornness and challenges that they face with. They get irritated and they want to retract back, because a lot of times it's hard for number 2 person to just convince that big thing to do something for them. Okay. Then on the other hand, The positive side of this 9 and 2 energy is because one nurtures and takes care of things. One is like an administrator, and the other one is protecting, also nurturing. It's a birthing energy. Okay, so here the number 2 person finds itself loving the challenge of nurturing things around them. And because it's Mars and Moon, you obviously will get angry a lot because you're feeling that strong energy to complete that thing now. It's like the number 2 patience runs out temporarily for 365 days. So they're going to find themselves more into like, hey, oh my God, I've got to finish this. No, don't bother me. Don't bother me. This is my challenge. So this is why it's again, it becomes a difficult energy, but at the same time, it becomes an energy where a person feels delighted to take that particular challenge of protection and serving. Okay. And usually you will see like number 2 person in 9 year will suddenly stops taking crap from certain people around them. Because now they have that energy and forceful of Mars. Then you get number 3. Number 3 person who's born on 3. And again, it could be born on 3, could be born on 12, could be born on 21. Okay, so it'll be 3. They're meeting number 9. Here, the person, this is going to be the type of year that this person is going to aggressively chase knowledge, aggressively chase learning. Okay, they will they will kind of close one chapter of their knowledge in this year. Like let's say somebody's learning about something connected with altcoin, but suddenly they're like, I'm done with altcoins. I need to really go deep and study Bitcoin. That's where I need to go. That's where I need to be. So they're closing one thing, but they're now aggressively pursuing knowledge towards something new. Okay, they're not adding on to something. It's a new beginning. So especially you will see such people aggressively, like number 3 people will be joining many courses, many learning. They will naturally, number 3 person will be inclined towards wanting to get some kind of a higher education. But it's like compared to other people, they become very aggressive about it. They become very stubborn about it. No, I have to do this. So it's a great thing that optimism of Jupiter brings about that accomplishment of challenge. Because 3 is Jupiter, again, 9 is Mars. Now, also let me know during this year, and you can come back to this video, if as a number 3, you also found yourself disconnected from other people. You also found wanting to go withdrawal into yourself. Because then it'll also prove that Ketu's energy is also there with number 3. Okay, so if you're number 3, within the next couple of months, you don't have to wait to 6 months. Within a couple of months, this energy has to come into play. So you can come back and say, what is it that you're feeling? Do you feel like you just want to retract into yourself, going into sadhana or wanting to go into, deep research into something? Because like I said, 9 is going to be Mars and Ketu energy. You'll also find this year, number 3, when you go towards meeting a guru, teacher, or you have a current teacher, guru, mentor, they will challenge you. They will not be soft to you. They will be hard to you. They will be like, you must do this. You go do this, and then you come back and talk to me. So your knowledge, in order to grow, it has to be challenged. So that's what's going to happen. It's going to be that particular knowledge is going to have to be challenged this year. So when you do find a guru, when you do have a teacher, you're in a university and you go deal with professors, pay attention, write down in the notes. How's that interaction? Over time, you will see they're trying to just challenge you. They're not being soft to you anymore. They're not just handing you things on a silver platter. It's like they want you to go and hunt instead of just showing you how to hunt and then you're trying to kill your prey and then they come in and help kill that prey. No, they're like, no, you do it. You gotta go, hunt, kill, bring it back. It's like a lion trying to teach their cub that it's now time for you to go on your own and hunt. Then you have 4 and 9 energy. 4 energy naturally is connected with Rahu. Okay, so 4 and 9 coming into play. So then Rahu Mars, right? So number 4 person is running through number 9 here. Now think about it as a combination. And this is the combination, you bet the number 4 person is going to become overly ambitious, overly motivated, and overly angry. Sometimes, depending on a person's individual chart, the anger can be quite subtle. Meaning the anger is like becomes a fusion within. Because a lot of people, even if they're going through year number 9, 10, 11, 12, doesn't matter. Based on your chart, you will not react to some things so aggressively, even though the external processing is saying that, hey, it has to be aggressive now. But you will see that they will feel that. And if they feel it, if their chart shows they're going to show it outside, they're going to show it outside. Because what happens when you're overly ambitious? What happens when you're overly motivated? Not a lot of things will work out for you. Like overly ambitious person can be extremely, it's like a freight train coming. Okay. And there's nothing to load. So a person is ambitious. They're like, I'm going to achieve this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. No matter come hell or high water. And your willpower is actually part of that matrix of your birth chart. Your willpower, your action, and then your chart becomes that locomotive of that as well. So the thing is, most of the time, 4 person, if let's say they're not running through the right transit, right dasha or the yogas in their chart, the right progression of Saturn or Jupiter, they get overly disappointed, and it's like the energy, that level that goes up is kind of like taking a shot of espresso, and by like 11 or 12, you crash down. So this is where a 4 person has to be very careful about. It's great to feel ambitious to achieving your goals, but if you feel that, oh, come hell or high water, this is going to happen, and I'm going to do this, and this, and I'm going to achieve this, and this, and it's like you just feel it inside you, you're going to do it. But when it doesn't, it literally crashes a person by mid-year. And that crash can also explode into anger, explode into frustration. Like during this period, many 4 people will have disputes and fights with brothers, best friends, male co-workers. Because it is that energy of Rahu, Mars coming together. It doesn't matter. Like I said, it is that combination that becomes active. But on the other hand, also, 4 people can do very well in number 9, especially when a 4 person is in the world of technology softwares. Everybody uses software. I use software, but that doesn't make me a techie. That doesn't make me a software engineer. So this is a great year for people who are in the field of tech engineering, who are in, field of aerospace, dealing with Wi-Fi, AI. Okay. The one thing that Rahu and Mars person has to be careful of is regarding market. Because they can overexhaust. They become, see what happens with Rahu Mars and what happens with 4 person going through 9 number year. They become too much of a risk taker. It's like you're feeling like do or die. Do or die, I'm going to do it. And that do or die can just go far back. You won't even see the do. So the do or die, the do goes away. this is where you want to be careful of. And Rahu, Mars, like I said, a person even runs into a lot of aggression in their regular life. Like, usually, because see, it's about attracting the energy. So you attract that, aggressive energy with with Rahu person being in a Mars year. So you have to be like extra careful about everything, every move, where you're going, what you're doing, what time you're going, and where you're going. So if you're number 5, okay. So if you're number 5 and you're not running into the 9th year, okay. So here, this becomes a strong year in terms of balancing out, your ideas, concluding your ideas, bringing your ideas into action. Especially when 5 number person goes into the 9th year, you will see they become overly protective about their work, overly protective about their ideas and business. And because 9 is completion, but also new beginning. So like imagine the first half of the years is completing things. Like, let's finish this. The second half of the year has that rejuvenating energy. Because regardless if you look at number 9 is Mars or Ketu, doesn't matter. If something is in a process of dying, it's also in a process of rebirth. So a lot of 5 people in this year are going to focus on starting a business. Focus on wanting to do over communication. Like you will see, especially if this is a perfect year for a 5 person to aggressively pursue social media. Which pretty much I think the entire population's on social media now. But especially 5 person out of all the numbers out there becomes overly aggressive, overly enthusiastic, and stubborn about getting their message across. Yet this you will see with number 5. If let's say you're a journalist with number 5, you will run into a lot of frustration as a journalist who deals with information and wants to give information. Because for a journalist, it's all about getting the thing out there first. Okay? Being the first one to be out there, being the first one to say something. But what happens is there's animosity between Mars and Mercury. And even though Mars is that energy of over like power, aggression, stubbornness, wanting things now. Okay? What happens with Mercury? It wants it much quicker than what Mars can provide. And this is where the frustration comes in. So if you're in a kind of business of providing latest information, you will find yourself challenged. You will find yourself, because what happens is when you give things immaturely, the public, the crowd will be like, it's like mainstream media. Like it'll be like you're just trying to get the information out first without any logical explanation, without any reasoning, without any conclusion. Like, for example, I'm so glad my daughters, my kids have no idea what BBC is, what CNN is, what MSNBC is, what any news is. But because they just, that world is gone. But the thing is, because Mercury is information and Mars is that energy that wants to just move fast, move fast, move fast. Mercury is a very quick moving planet, like the moon. This is why that moon and Mercury people, the 2 and 5 people, find it quite a bit of frustration, but especially Mercury the most. Because that energy is not conducive with Mercury. Mercury likes to actually discern things, analyze things. But when it's in the 9 year, it's like, I need to do this now. I have to get this thing down. But let's say, for example, you're in some completely different career versus, let's say, giving some information. That may work for you. that particular information will work for you. But one thing we do see that this benefits the 5 person is when they want to take on new ventures. But again, you got to take time with that new venture. You can't be rushing into doing something. If a number 1 is using number 9 to aggressively go towards something that benefits them, because it's the king telling the general, go now, do it for me now. And general's like, yes, sir. Yes, sir, Sergeant Shishka, sir. Where Mercury is saying, go do it for me now. It's like, okay. Said who? Said me, Mercury. I'm the prince. Yeah, but what did the king say? And by the time that thing is concluded, the opportunity is kind of gone. Also with Mercury, just like Jupiter, Mercury person, the number 5 person, wants to attain knowledge, but it's not knowledge of wisdom, but it's skills. One wants to aggressively hone their skills. So you will see a lot of 5 people quickly taking on new skills and certification courses. Like if they can learn something within the next 2 days, they will do that. They become curious about those things. A lot of number 5 people will also, whether they go fully with it or not, they find interest towards joining kickboxing gym, martial arts. Usually number 5 person will watch a lot of combat sports. And especially if you're in a combat sport, this is the year that this will be a very good year for you. If you're an athlete or if you're in sports, it's going to give you those opportunities. But it doesn't matter. You could be number 8, being in a number 9 year, and you'll do fine. But it's just that the energy of Mercury finds it. This is where the puzzle kind of fits in with the 9 year. So in terms of like challenging year, the 6 person, takes this year upon as a challenging year. Why it becomes a challenging year for number 6? Because number 6 out of all the numbers is the most patient number. It's the most elegant, serene number. Number 6 want patience, perseverance, beauty around it. It doesn't want chaotic energy around it. 6 does not want, like a aggression to go straight to bed. 6 wants to talk, wants to understand the other person, wants to understand the inner feelings, then slowly come closer to the other person, then wants to have a nice dinner, talk more, and then move towards the next level, where the energy of 9 says, hey, come on, enough of talking, let's go. So what happens is 6 finds it frustrating that they have to now get up and work to achieve that goal that they want. Like they're like, oh, so I have to finally do this. Oh, I have to finally now go up and take upon this responsibility, that responsibility, because things become very fast for number 6. Like for number 5, they won't recognize things that are fast because they want to move into that quick turnaround situations. But 6 feels like things need to go in a very balanced way. You think 5 is balanced? No, it's actually 6 that is balanced. Because 6 is after 5. 5 is balancing. It's like, okay, should I move here a little bit? And I'll move here a little bit. Okay, now I'm balanced. And 6 is right after that. She's like, oh, you balanced it? Great. I'm going to enjoy this balance. So that Venus energy, which is number 6, is coming together with Mars and Ketu, which is the energy of number 9. And so here Mars is like, let's end it so we can do something new. Let's close it so do something new. And 6 person is like, why do I have to close it? Why do I have to end this? Why am I being forced to change? So a lot of 6, usually number 9, can deal with heartbreaks. because that old things have to be cleaned off so the new things can come in. It's not like every six will deal with this. People have been married for 50 years, okay, gone through numbers 9 years so many times, 5 times in their married life. But it's I'm saying it's those people who are in that state, okay, where things need to be concluded, is going to force you to conclude it. Like, for example, people, in relationships sometimes cannot break up a relationship because they're like comfortable with it. They're like, it's just okay, fine. If the other person breaks up, I'm okay right now until the other person, new person comes in. I don't know, maybe, I can't hurt their feelings. But now Mars is bringing situation. They're like, no, this has to end so it can be moved forward. And especially with number six, six is naturally money. Six is luxury. Okay. So what happens is six person wants to be in comfort. If the comfort is there, then the person is challenged to get rid of that comfort, work towards something, and then attain new form of comfort. But if, let's say, a six person is struggling to get comfort in their life, they're at that stage of their life, at that dasha, at that transit, where things are just frustrating, they actually enjoy number nine then. Because they get that motivation and they get that energy, the force that, what, enough of this BS lifestyle. I'm going to end the way I'm living now because this year is the one I'm going to find my comfort. So it's easier for people who don't have what they need in this time right now. And it becomes more frustrating, not challenging, frustrating for someone who already has things and is now having to deal with that change. Even if a six person doesn't have anything and they're okay with it, like, I'm okay with it, but still the circumstances around them are going to force them to become more aggressive towards gaining that six energy of comfort and money. Now, this doesn't mean just because you're in a 9 year that a six person will find marriage and relationship. No, for that you have to see the horoscope. So then you have the energy of seven going into energy of nine. Okay. So a seven person wants what? Seven person wants to retreat within. Seven person wants to research. Seven person wants to discover things that are hidden. Seven person wants to observe. Seven person kind of makes decisions from more intuitively than more from the brain, more from their intelligence. Okay. So what seven energy is doing is coming across the energy of conclusion, energy of Mars. Okay. So on one way, a seven person finds this particular year to be able to complete the task that they were doing, meaning that they were looking to discover something, research something. So now that energy of Mars says, okay, let's conclude this and let's find it. And if we don't find it, let's move on. On the other hand, if a seven person, because see, seven person can be a party animal too. Seven person can also be a monk. So if a monk goes into, or a monk-like personality goes into the number 9 year, what happens is they find the energy to pursue that particular goal. Because it is the goal of end. The 9 is the energy of that end and recycle, death, rebirth. So understanding that cycle becomes easier for number 7. But number 7, seven, because it's in the number 9, okay, has this burst of, frustrated energy of anger. Why? Because they're not getting the answers that they want. 7 person, when they're in a year number 9, which is, again, I'm going to say this again repeatedly, like it's Mars and it's Ketu as well. Just like Aquarius is co-ruled by Saturn and Rahu, 9 is Mars, but also, on the other hand, in other systems, Ketu also controls number 9. So here, if a number 7 person uses their main energy goal, because it's Ketu, to go withdrawal within, to do like actual religiously, rigorously doing spiritual practices, Mars give them the energy and the motivation to seek that particular nothingness within them. Because it's trying to complete something and then trying to evolve something new. So those practices for number 7 helps them to kind of rediscover something within that intensifies their energy. And 7, or pretty much the Ketu's energy, when it's in Mars's energy, this is kind of like a combination that creates electricity. Ketu, so like for example, for number 2, if they go into number 7 here, it makes a electricity, water and electricity naturally. Here you have Ketu and Mars. So here's Ketu with electricity, here's Mars with energy. So whatever you will see, 7 people suddenly out of nowhere find some kind of a spark, find some kind of a motivation to do something. This it's like if they wanted that electric current, and I'm talking about, metaphorically, like they want that moment of epiphany, that moment like, wow, I gotta do this. That gets triggered with Mars. Because it's the current meeting more energy. So that little spark turns into this lightning bolt with Ketu Mars coming together. But usually you will see with Ketu and Mars, if you're in some form of research and wanting to find some answers, seeking some answers, those answers usually come in number 9 here. Then you have number 8 person going into number 9 year. Well, number 1 thing, overwork. Being overworked, being a workaholic, working like a machine happens. Meaning, if let's say you've been unemployed for the past 1 or 2 years, well, get ready. This year's the ambience is, I'm gonna give you more opportunity. You have to work. You gotta get going somewhere. Something has to happen. Whether even if you do an internship, I have to put you to work. So again, this does not say, well, an 8 person is guaranteed to find a job in number 9 year, but it says the energies from the past 8 years is now much more concentrated and it's much more conducive for you to work, because it's the combination of Mars and Saturn coming together, which is kind of like a combination of one component of a machine coming together with another component of a machine. And it's like when machines are formed, boom, it's now working towards something. It's kind of like, I was watching a video of how even injections, when they go into bodies, certain particles, I don't know if this is alien technology or what, but certain particles in the blood starts to come together and form, and they're getting together and suddenly it's forming into some kind of a machine or device. It's crazy. But it's not crazy, because 100 years from now, 50 years from now, people are like, this is like primitive technology now to assemble something. Like, for example, they can now assemble a robot, I think so, based on what I was watching, that can now assemble itself within the blood and then now go to a certain spot and fix something. I mean, it is quite interesting to see that, wow, us humans can do this type of work. Can you imagine the capacity of a brain to think like that? Like, we don't need to have an assembled thing, microscopic thing, go underneath through the needle. No, we'll send it, and then the particles themselves, which are designed automatically to come together and form a certain structure, so they can perform a certain task. Whether to find some disease, cure some disease, something. So that Saturn Mars combination is saying this is it's time for you to just put yourself to work, but then yes, you will get exhausted because Saturn is what? Saturn is old person. Saturn is what? Lethargicness, laziness. So after a while, it's gonna be quite exhausting. Like where you just feel burnt out. So a lot of 8 people feel burnt out in the 9 energy, and especially by the second half of the year, they want to just rejuvenate themselves. They in the second half of the year, they want to like usually you will see 8 people most of the time can leave their current workspace. Not right now because the year just begun. You're gonna feel that overworking, working. It's like again those situations coming together to form this little robot, right? So that situation is coming together to form this what do you call this situation where it's gonna make you now overwork, overtasked. So those things by the time you hit June, July, you'll be like, I need something new. This is too much for me. Like you work in a situation, you're doing the same work, but suddenly half the company is laid off or half the people just leave. So now that burden of other projects, other things are coming upon you to complete while you have your own task. And this also with Saturn and Mars. Usually such people during this time period will deal with a lot of situations connected with wills and estates, insurance, inheritance. Like a lot of people may even go towards, dealing with living trust, forming something, finally getting insurance for something. So they deal with such type of things and they become more productive towards those things. Like if they were delaying on those particular things, because these are all the things that are connected with Saturn and connected with 8. So they want to work towards those things. 8 person going into the 9 year, usually in their 60s, 70s, will definitely seek retirement or will be very, very close to wanting to retire this year. Because again, this is the year of that completion. So it all depends. Like I've seen that actually. Like, and a person born on either number 8, 17, 26 are thinking, should I be getting retirement now or next year? Like last year, actually, I had it. Like, do you think it'll be a right year for me to retire next year? And I'm like, why do they say next year? Because, yeah, the number 9 year is coming there as a form of completion. So again, it's kind of like that Desh Kal Patra, like what are the ages and circumstances for a person? Because if somebody's 9 years old, number 8 person and the age of 9 going into the year 9 does not mean they're going to retire. For them, it's going to be something different, something new. Perhaps a new group of friends come in. New challenges come in regarding their study. Maybe they have to work really hard now and be overexhausted related to their studies. Where somebody at 66, 67 now is like, okay, this is it. It's time for me to just, retire and this working life. Now the number 9 person who's born on the 9th, 18th, 27th. So you'll be number 9. This is like you looking in a mirror. Why? Because this is your birth. This is the birth of your routines. It's like a rejuvenation of your routine. So it becomes much easier for number 9. So number 9, especially in the 9 year, loves to take care of people, protect people, serve people, but especially they find a rejuvenized motivation to do something new. And new things takes place. New things tend to happen. Now, do they work out or don't work out? Well, that depends on somebody's chart. That depends on somebody's, transits and progression. But they will always, number 9, going into the 9 year, is like Mars and Mars together. So it's like they're going to. It's like it's confirming. It's now time to do something new. It's time to start that new thing that you were hoping for. It is time to spark that you were delaying. Okay, it's like you were lighting up that lighter, and finally the spark catches on through to the gas, and the gas becomes active for you to cook something on it. Now we don't know how good that dish is going to be, but the fire is now started. And so for the person who's living in 9, you will see very busy year. They want to go from here to there to this to that, to travel, to starting a new business, to starting a new job, to getting into new colleges, to getting into new things. It's not, it doesn't feel like, oh my god, it's work. No, you already would see from day one. Like today's the first, number 9 person would automatically will be planning and doing things, not even planning. They're starting to do things. Like, for example, somebody's thinking about, I'm going to open up a business this year. And so now what they're doing, literally today, they'll be buying some small thing related to their business. They're like, I got to just do this. Also, with number 9 person going into 9 year, revitalizes their health, rejuvenates their health. Like you will see a lot of times a person who has been delaying something related to their health, they're like, fine, I'm just going to go to a specialist now. Enough. I need to seek help. I need to seek this. So they'll go to specialist doctors, and especially specialists, people who are known as a specialty. So instead of a dentist, you'll go to orthodontics. Instead of a regular doctor, you will go to a, what do you call, like a heart specialist, like cardiologist. So there's these specialties. It's not like you won't care about just a normal person. Like, for example, if a person is seeking to pursue accountancy, they'll finally be like, no, I need to specialize in chartered accountancy. That's what I want to do. So Mars, because again, like I said, this is 9 year, has that co-energy of Mars and Ketu together, because in one system, Mars rules number 9. In certain systems, Ketu rules number 9. Okay. So in that particular notion, you will see that this, because again, why is number 9? Because it's a ending and rejuvenation. That's what Ketu is. Ketu's ending and rejuvenation. So this is why Ketu is kind of considered as well. So here, with a 9 person, they're naturally going to be focused on concluding the issues that they have been dealing with their body, with their health, because Mars is health, Mars is body, and they want to rejuvenate it. A lot of 9 people would also seek plastic surgery in 9 year, whether it's hair transplant, whether it's facelift, breast lift, anything, whatever it is that they want to feel something new, like I am new now. So the energy will sink in with that. Now, when Mars and Mars are together, the energy is overpowering. What happened is this person would come out very pinpointed, straightforward, and direct with everything. They're not going to kid around with something. They're going to be like, this is my goal. I need this. I want this. And that is it. Whatever your opinion is, keep it to yourself. Whatever your suggestion is, great. Thank you very much. Now get out of my way. Because I need that new rebirth. That's what happens. But yeah, frustrations will come in big time if you don't have the combinations to start and achieve something that you're wanting to start and achieve. That's what happens. Okay, so this concludes our 9, numbers. And just remember, like, my 2025 horoscope is already on Care's vlogs on my Magavit Astrology Academy, which you can click on the link below. So you'll find literally 20, 30-minute long videos there. And then we'll start with our regular programming tomorrow. All right. Thank you.